Hi there, Donal Boyd here. This is going to be an honest review of the DZO Arles cinema primes with my direct experience as a cinematographer and director using them on documentary projects. I'm going to be walking you through the things that I like about these lenses and some considerations that I think you should keep in mind if you're thinking about using them on your next production. I do want to mention that DZO did send us these lenses on long-term loan to use for our documentary projects, and they sent us their B kit. This includes the 14mm, the 21mm, the 40, the 135, and the 180. Anything that I mention in this video is really just my honest opinion, and they're not paying us for anything. It's just that they've sent us these lenses because they believe in the projects that we are working on, and also because we have actually worked with DZO for a couple of years and really like their glass. But I won't be holding anything back in terms of what I think you should consider if you're going to use these specific lenses. So let's dive into what I like about the lenses. Let's first talk about build quality. So these lenses are incredibly well built. I mean, you can just tell by holding them in your hands. The machining and the smoothness of all the gears, it's just really tight, nothing is shaking around. And despite us using these in really extreme conditions like in Borneo for production, as well as here in Cape Cod near the ocean, lots of different conditions where they're moving around quite a lot, everything is solid and holds together very well. And that's one of the reasons why I like these lenses so much, because they're so solidly built. They feel like they can take a beating, and they feel like they can really last a long time.
You all right?
It's hot. Another thing for me that stands out is the ability to change the mount on the DZO Arles lenses, and I think all of the DZO lenses. You can actually change the mount options. Right now we have an REPL mount on our DZO Arles lenses, and because we're using it across many different systems, that allows us with the PL adapters to be able to put the lenses on many different cameras. If you wanted, you could change the mount very easily using the kit that DZO sends. It's very, very quick to just change the mount. If you wanted to use these lenses on a Canon natively or on a Sony system, you just need to get the mount for that, and you can quickly change it yourself. No need to send it into a shop or anything like that. Just remove these screws here in the front and you're good to go. They also send shims that you can adjust very fine-tunedly the distance from the sensor in order to calibrate the infinity focus and the focus markings if you're really trying to dial in your lenses. Another big factor for me as a single camera operator is the focus throw of these lenses. It's 270 degrees, where as an individual who is controlling everything on the camera, this is really great for me in terms of the size of the lens and how I actually handle it when I'm out shooting. I can very easily control 270 degrees with just my fingers, going from infinity all the ways back to close focus distance. And that's really advantageous for me if I don't want to use a follow focus or any other focusing systems, because that adds to the complexity of changing the lenses while I'm doing documentary. I like to keep it raw most of the time, so just my hands on the lens, and 270 degrees is really great for that. Another thing that I really love about the Arles lenses is their close focus ability. For example, the 21 and the 40mm lenses have a close focus distance of 33 and 40 centimeters respectively. And for documentary, this is really important because it allows me as a cinematographer to create a wide variety of shots without needing to change my lenses. So I can get really close for those close-ups with a 21mm or the 40mm, and also back way up without changing my lenses to get those wide shots and medium shots. Variety with a single lens is really important, so having that close focus distance is actually pretty crucial. Okay, let's talk about the look of these lenses. For our most recent production in Borneo, we used these lenses with the Fujifilm GFX 100 II, which is a medium format camera. Because these lenses are designed for VistaVision, meaning that they can shoot all the ways up to large format cameras like the Arri XM Mini, being able to shoot on the GFX 100 II in medium format, we shot in 4K GF mode, meant that we could use the entire width of the 43.8mm sensor. And this rendered the images beautifully. Because we're able to use so much of the glass of these lenses, we're able to get amazing details in the center with this really characteristic fall off in bokeh in the background, as well as the edges of each of the frames. It was just amazing and exactly what we had in mind to be able to use these lenses for with a camera that had this format. I saw a lot of reviews that spoke about how the lenses were very clinical and that they were very sharp and didn't have much character to them, but I think a lot of these reviews didn't utilize the lenses in a way that maximized how much of the glass you're actually using. Medium format allowed us to use so much more of the glass so we could get that character edge as well as the amazing bokeh and the swirly background for the project in Borneo. You could really see that in the definition in the trees and the fall off between the character and the background. And it really matched our vision for this project. The emotional immersion in the story that we were filming. The story that we're filming is a story about Isam, our character, who is an ex-illegal logger who now protects and restores the forest for the past 20 years, planting more than 4 million trees and protecting the home of the orangutan in Borneo. This project is still in post-production, but if you want to see more behind the scenes of how we use the Arles lenses with the GFX 102, I've linked a video in the description here where you can see that, and really excited to share more about this project in the coming months as we finish the post-production and share this film. I also want to note that we shot mostly in the widest aperture for all of the lenses that allowed, and we did this because we wanted to create the greatest separation between the character and the background and get that really unique emotional fall off between the subject and their surroundings. And for me, these lenses, they epitomize that epic low aperture vibe where what you're focused on is incredibly sharp, but everything else just falls away naturally and you're just really immersed in the scene. And combined with the medium format, we're able to achieve a look that was just really unique and really brought you into the scene. And I think that's one of the powers of these lenses combined with medium format is that you can really get the most out of the glass. And yeah, highly suggest shooting in medium format. Okay, considerations that you want to keep in mind if you're thinking about using these lenses on your next production. The main thing that you want to think about is what camera system are you using, and mainly what size sensor are you using. The first production we used these lenses on was medium format, so we're able to use a great deal of the glass that is allowed in these lenses. On our current shoot here in Cape Cod in the United States, we're using 35mm full frame Sony cameras, mainly shooting with the FX3 and a couple of other different mirrorless bodies. Now what we notice straight away, the big difference is that because we're using less of the glass with these full frame sensors, we're getting different edge characteristics in different fall off as well as different bokeh. Now that's okay because for this production, we wanted to be a little bit more clean and clinical and sharp around the center and not have as much characteristic as we did with the shoot in Borneo. That's just something you want to keep in mind if you're using different sensor types. For example, if you used a Super 35 sensor, you would be using even less of the glass and you would get different characteristics out of them. If you want to use the entire range of the glass using something like an Arri Alexa Mini, Red Raptor, then you're going to get the full width of these lenses. The medium format allowed us to use so much more of the glass than we were able to use with these full frame sensors. What we mostly notice about using these lenses on the Sony system is that they're a lot more clean and physically sharp, as well as quite a bit less artistic, but that's okay because this is intentional considering the type of project that we're working on here. This film that we're working on is about people and wildlife coexisting in the face of climate change, and for this project we didn't want to have a look that was as artistic as the film production in Borneo. Because this film production is in such an early stage, I can't give you that many previews from the current shoot, but I can share a couple of example images that I'm laying over now that will give you an idea of what the lenses look like on a full frame system. The last thing that I really want to note that you should keep in mind with these lenses is the weight. Now, compared to other cinema lenses, because the lenses are so big and the glass is so incredible, they're a bit heavier. And for me as a single operator, I really needed to think about camera support, which is why for the production where we first started using these in Borneo, I actually for the first time started to use an easy rig. Now, it's actually an advantage because I'd never used one before, and using these lenses with a whole cinema kit rig setup, it actually became very necessary for me to use the easy rig. They're not that much heavier than other lenses, or maybe double the weight of comparable cinema lenses, but because of that, it puts them a little bit more in the ballpark of on the heavy side. It's just a consideration. It's not really a disadvantage of the lenses because I think it's a good trade-off. Especially if you're using a medium format system, you're getting that incredible look from using the full extent of the glass. That extra weight is really worth it. And if you're using a camera support system, it's actually very manageable. I was impressed with the easy rig and how easy it was to use it on a production and how much better it made my workflow as a cinematographer. So, I mean, just a little push for easy rig. It's actually pretty amazing. In general, the lenses in terms of weight are very manageable if you have the right camera support system. Anyway, these are my quick thoughts on the lenses, and if you have any questions about them that I didn't answer in this video, let me know in the comments below, and I can't wait to continue using these lenses on future productions. If you like this video, also let me know, and if you'd like to see anything else on this channel, please feel free to comment below, and I'll try my best to make a cool video about it. Peace.